Welcome back to another Exhibit Fireside Chat. I'm Pierre, and today I'm really excited to be joined by Elizabeth Najim, Operation Manager at Hill Aerospace Museum in Utah. Hill is one of the special places, by the way. Over 70 aircrafts on display, from World War II classics like the B-17 Flying Fortress to the cutting edge, cool fire jets that you see, like the F-16, SR-71 Blackbird, etc. There's so many cool aircraft, and here's the thing with it is that makes them super unique. By the way, is that they offer completely free admission to the public, no tickets, no barriers, just incredible aviation history accessible to everyone. Elizabeth, for those who haven't visited Hill yet, give us a quick overview. What's your role look like, and what makes Hill special from an operational perspective?
Yes, thank you so much for that introduction. So the Hill Aerospace Museum, as Pierre said, showcases over 70 aircraft, outlining the beginning of Hill Air Force Base's beginnings here in Utah to present day. We also include general Utah aviation. And like Pierre said, I am the operations manager here at Hill Aerospace Museum. I do a variety of things. I track the data for the museum. I operate and handle the budget. I handle events and oversee all that. And then sometimes I'm writing signs for the museum. So, like most museum professionals, we just have our hands in all sorts of different pots. And it's really fun how different my job looks every single day. And I think that's what I love about it most. And yeah,
Yeah,
we
no, that's
are a free admission museum because we are a federal entity, so we have to be free to the public. So thank you for paying your taxes, because then we can have this beautiful museum to enjoy the history of all sorts of cool aircraft that we have.
that's amazing. And thank you for that. And we know that Utah has, some very different weather to deal with. It can be extremely hot, extremely cold. So there's an additional element to being a museum and making sure people are coming through. Um, but I think in my experience, operating a free admission create this like very interesting dynamic, right? You're juggling all the typical museum challenges, but without some of the traditional metrics most attractions rely on, right? Such as like booking lead time, attrition rates, etc., etc. And you've been doing some very innovative work on the data side to figure a lot of things out. So we can start with the free admission model maybe, and free admission for everyone. How does that shape your operational priorities? What does success look like when you're not making ticket sales essentially?
Yeah, that's a great question. So, typically, thanks to Dexhibit's help, we monitor our visitation against our gift shop sales. And that is a real big indicator of what kind of money we are bringing in if we're not bringing in ticket sales, in addition to the population of the people coming in. We do actually track our visitors. They come in and they will sign in. They just don't pay anything. We ask them where they're from, if they've been here before, and how many people in the group. We don't get their names or any kind of personal information, just because we do have that kind of tracking, and we compare that against all the other data that Dexhibit helps us aggregate and figure out. We do have sensors in each gallery and in each prominent area, such as the gift shop and the entrance, so we can see the numbers of people flowing in and flowing out. And we also have a car counter outside that I go out and manually check, and then multiply that by a certain number, and then that's the supposed estimated kind of visitation number we had for the month. That's definitely not the most accurate, because you take that number and multiply it by 4, because that's how many people are in the car. Well, it could be a school bus, it could be just one person, so it is kind of give and take. But with these methods that we have from Dexhibit, we're able to kind of continuously gather different types of visitor data to just overall understand, and not just from ticket sales, because we don't sell tickets, but just what else are they buying, what else are they looking at. And we have a lot of repeats, which means we're doing something right.
Yeah, I love that. And you do hold like some events, right? Like one of my favorite ones, I think, is like you do the open aircraft right
Yes.
day, and then you have a few air shows as well on site.
Yes, we have our Open Aircraft Day, which is our largest event of the year. It's every September, right before the weather starts getting bad. He mentioned the bad weather because we are known for our snow up here and our harsh summers. Um, yeah, Open Aircraft Day last year we drew in about 10,000 people, which was one of our biggest years. This year was a little less; it was around 8,000 people, but that's still a lot of people walking through your building on any given day. And we try to continuously do this and interact with the community to keep preserving our space within the area.
I love that. And you mentioned using different data points essentially, or like different data types, right, to understand visitation and patterns. So I have like the first question for you that I have is that um, have you found any gold nuggets in that data? Have you found any surprising patterns lately or ever?
Yes, and I love this question because I think it's so because for some things museum data is pretty predictable. You know, Saturday will be your highest visitation. Rainy days are probably your highest visitation as well because everyone can't really do anything and they want to leave the house. Um, but some of the things that I found that I wrote down over here, school groups really do drive our visitation, and they come around 10 a.m., almost on the dot. And we don't actually plan that, that just kind of happens. Um, and I did mention the rainy days, but sometimes they can be hit or miss, and that is how we compare that to with our retail data from Dexhibit. You know, how many transactions were made and how many items were in each basket. We can see, compare that against how many people came, and sometimes the rainy days we either make a lot or we don't. There's not really a magic number for that, which that one surprised me the most. Um, and despite those visitations on bad weather days, the gift shop will still, regardless, have more sales than on sunny days. I thought that weather feature was so cool. I loved seeing how that impacts because we have no control of the weather. We can only control what our exhibits look like, what we put in the gift shop, you know, how we are enhancing the visitor experience. But those kind of things that just show, you know, oh, there's so many things you can do, but still the weather is going to dictate something, and data will show that. Also, we with our events that we have, whether there's an event user using our space for a holiday party or retirement, or even our open aircraft day, those kind of days bring in all sorts of different demographics of people that would have never come here regardless. And that's kind of cool to see reflected in the data as well. And by that, I
I like
mean
that.
just from different parts of the either the United States or the world.
Yeah, yeah, I like that. And you spoke about weather a little bit, and you and I we've been working for a few years together now, so maybe we can share that to folks listening is that you've went through some big renovations, right? Where you added covered space to the museum to potentially make it more um, approachable and accessible during, you know, either extremely hot days if you have air conditioning there, or like extremely cold or rainy days where you want people to be able to enjoy seeing the aircraft, right? Like that were previously outside that are now inside. Is that correct?
Yes, so our brand new space is the Ellis Skaggs Gallery. We fundraised for about 10 years until we finally were able to construct it, and I almost said publish, construct and dedicate it in May, well, more April of 2024, and we officially opened the doors to the public in May of 2024. And that's absolutely correct. This allowed us to bring most of our outdoor aircraft inside to protect them from the elements, and we have also started renovating a lot of those aircraft so we can enjoy them for future generations to come. This has also allowed us to provide more exhibit space to tell more storied histories of local airmen at Hill Air Force Base or any kind of Air Force Utah related information. There's just so many different stories out there, different individuals who had an impact. We're actually working right now on the Candy Bomber exhibit. I don't know if people out there have heard of the Candy Bomber. He actually was a Utahn. He was from Salt Lake City, and he flew the C-54 for the Berlin airlift during World War II, and he was the guy who started throwing out candy during the Berlin airlift to the kids, and the kids would recognize him because he told them like through a fence, I'll be flying over and I'll wiggle my wings so you know it's me and I'll drop the chocolate. So they called him Mr. Wiggle Wings, and it became such a symbol of hope and perseverance. And it was just one little thing. He just wanted to give candy to starving German kids. So we are working on that exhibit. We have artifacts from the family. And so, anyways, the expanded space is great for us to be able to continuously tell these kind of stories and to keep preserving them, like I said, for generations to come.
That's awesome. I like that it has like it has a double purpose, right? It's like you
Mm-hmm.
can enjoy the aircraft all year round almost, and then they are now safe indoors to be renovated, and you can add to that collection, etc., etc. I love that.
Absolutely.
I love that. And on the retail side, let's talk about that for a minute, maybe. You've mentioned with free admission that revenue stream becomes fairly important. And on my side, again, we've been talking about this before, right? Together, it's like retail is not just about making money, right? It's about understanding what people buy and how they interact with this item after their visit, right? Like what items are resonating with them based on what they've seen at the museum. What do you look for when you're looking at data?
That's a great question. I I love comparing it against visitation, which I have talked about, but I love seeing what people buy and how many, and especially during this time of year with the holidays, people are kind of stacking up on all sorts of stuff. One of our popular items is a brand called Made in America, where just everyone they like proudly say that on there, and it's usually T-shirts. And we contract through them so that we have a lot of products that come through them and people just love our stuff. Toys are also probably our most popular. We have mostly it's kids you saw the SR-71 and they just want that toy. And I see a lot of kids playing with the toys. As soon as they get out of our gift shop, they'll just open the packages and start with their toys. It's so cute. So yes, on a data standpoint, it's really cool to see, what people are buying, how much stuff, what's really popular, what's not really popular. Some of the lower popular stuff are just shirts in different colors or sizes that just aren't selling as hot as the normal sizes. I like to take note of our biggest sale days are usually when we have some sort of discounts as well. We will coordinate discounts with our events going on. So, like, for example, we have an Easter egg hunt that we do every springtime, and it lasts about a month. It's a scavenger hunt around the museum, and then kids can go get their candy prize when they're all done. But we offer a 20% discount if you found all the things, and that will absolutely drive up sales. And we track that
Interesting.
on Dexhibit, and it's really cool to kind of see that. Um, and as you guys know, we were shut down for 6 weeks during the government shutdown and the furlough this year, which obviously impacted us. And that has been one of my favorite questions on the Ask feature of Dexhibit is, so hey, what's going on with our visitation? How are these numbers comparing? We lost all this time. I even had it forecast for me what do you think our total visitation will be at the end of this year? Because it's assuming we lost about 30,000 people of visitation from the weeks we were closed, that we could have made to 200,000 total for visitation, but it might be more like 171,000. Of course, it could, that's just an estimate, and it's just guessing off of the data that was presented. And sorry, I'm kind of going into another topic about the Ask feature now, but I really liked how it shows me its thinking steps and it shows me where it's looking, and I don't care how long it takes, even if it takes, and it doesn't take that long, but I think it took 2 minutes once to answer one of my questions, which is fine. It was showing me that I was doing the work. It was, and I thought that was cool how it kind of went ahead and predicted that kind of thing. And it did the same with the sales in the gift shop as well. And it's already assuming, and it went ahead and compared, now to last year's data, like, oh, you're back on track despite the shutdown, which is very good news for us.
That's awesome. Maybe it's that Utah internet speed, Lizzie. That's
Probably. We're
But
behind the
you're right.
times.
Yeah. No, you're right. Like the aspect, I love that you mentioned that because yes, you're right. Depending on the question, it may verify information, double check all the data sets that you have available, etc. But it will eventually get there. Um, and what I like what you mentioned is that you can build up on the conversation, right, and ask extra elements based on the answer that you get. But I'm glad that you enjoy that. That's awesome.
Hmm.
And yeah, it is plugged into your forecast, so it will be able to tell you how many visitors you potentially lost during that shutdown and what the year is gonna be ending. Very good,
Hmm.
awesome. And um, how like when you so when we look at potentially where we're gonna land at the end of the year in terms of visitation. I mean, we just had, the big summer breaks. You guys had Thanksgiving on your side of the world. So, typically sort of busy time of year where like either people are completely shut down and off or attractions and museums are booming. Um, like before and after that shutdown, like and now even for the Christmas holiday and all that, like how do you manage these operations? Like you've mentioned, you have some big events with a lot of visitation coming through. I think you've mentioned up to 10,000 a day, right? On for that open aircraft, I think, or that air show. Um, when you look at staffing that those days, like you mentioned forecasting, for example, and more like how do you use that to allocate the number of staff that you want or need on specific days compared to like the visitation flow? You mentioned school groups coming at 10 a.m. Like that is, do you use that at all to draw when and where you're going to put staff members on a day-to-day basis?
A little bit, yes. For days we know we will have higher visibility, such as those event days. Most of our staff are volunteers that hang out in the galleries. Most of us who actually are employed here, we work behind the scenes and we don't really get on the floor as much as our volunteers do. Our volunteers are fantastic. They help the guests with whatever kind of collection or question or anything going on. So we typically do try to kind of fit it to how many people are we kind of expecting. For days like Open Aircraft Day, all volunteers on deck. As many there could be as I think we had 90 volunteers helping us. Actually, no, including people from the public, not just our own internal volunteers. We had over 100 people helping us. So yeah, it's just managing operations. It's all about staying organized and on top of it, and just kind of making sure that we account for those moments where we know we're going to have mishaps because we are a small staff. There's 12 of us total, and our visitations over 200,000 roughly a year, and we are just continuously trying to improve things here and always make it such a unique experience for the visitor where they keep coming back.
There will be some people listening to us right now and be like, man, I wish I was one of these 12 people surrounded by aircraft every day.
Oh
It's
yes.
so awesome. It's so awesome.
Yeah.
Um, cool. And that was a really good breakdown. I think we spoke about, forecasting, we spoke about visitation trends, government shutdown impact, retail, free admission model and how it works and the multiple data that you use to understand how many people are coming through, etc. Is there anything special that's next for Hill? What are you is there something that you're focusing your energy on from an operational and data perspective in the future?
So I actually had a hard time with this question because I'm still trying to figure out my data and operational journey. I think as much as I was a little hesitant with AI at first, I think it's actually a really good tool to work beside, not to do the work for you, but to do work beside you in order because it can poop out all this data for us, but at the end of the day, what are we going to do with that data? It's just more of just kind of uncovering what I don't know yet. Maybe get a little more personalized. What did you like about this gallery? What did you like about this gallery, as opposed to the museum in general? So that's kind of my goal, is to really focus on those visitor surveys and to really kind of see where we what their surveys can, how we can apply that to take it from here.
I love that. Let's consider it done from our side. We can focus on that next. And I can't wait to discover what we uncover from that data. It'll be really exciting.
Yeah, I feel like I'm still somewhat new at this, but I feel like there's so much to learn and so much to just figure out, and that's what's really exciting about all this.
Yeah, that's awesome. And we're here to take you on that journey as well. So
Yes.
hopefully
I'm very glad
we
Exhibit is here for my data journey.
that's awesome. Thank you for that. And I think that was such a good breakdown of what you're doing, and again what the team is doing. It's so valuable, and I think what stand out is how you've built a data-driven operation without the luxury of traditional ticketing metrics. And you mentioned budget and etc. And we do have constrained budget, but you've built something already that's extremely good. And um, honestly, you've learned a lot from it. Probably we've learned a lot from it. Probably, and I can't wait to go on the next journey on the feedback and the more qualitative data that we can explore from that. So I
Yeah,
love that.
definitely.
And overall, I really want to thank you for your insights, being so open about some of the challenges you faced. That's really good, and some of the wins and some of the numbers that you shared with us today. Um, that was really good. Thank you for that, Elizabeth.
Yeah, you're welcome. And yeah, thank you. No, we love you guys, and I love just seeing what's going on. I love seeing all the new things you guys come out with. I think the Ask feature is really cool.
It's amazing. Thank you so much, Elizabeth, for sharing those insights.
Yeah, thank you. We really appreciate you guys, truly.
And for everyone watching, by the way, if you want to learn more about Hill Aerospace Museum, head to the website. Or even better, head to the museum itself down in Utah. Again, it is free. They'll be so happy to have you. And if you're working through similar challenges at your organization, feel free to reach out. We'd love to chat. And to all of you watching, I want to say thanks a lot for watching us. Until we see you next time. Cheers.